Hey you, it's 2 days before the 25th. It's steam coming out of my mouth. It's 4 a.m. I've come out into the car because I didn't want to disturb the family. As you know, we're sharing a room in a budget motel next to a petrol garage. Well, we've had this conjunction. Some say it lasts longer than a day, and it's all, over an extended period of time and subtle and so on. Some say you're meant to be indoors. The government says you're meant to be indoors. Some say this is time to be, in nature, of course. Definitely try and get your feet wet or on the ground and look at the sun if you get to see it. But I think we got to be in love right now. This is the thing that they're doing to us. My family can barely bring themselves to communicate with me, and even the network and I built a network around my veteran credentials, and of course that mostly evaporated with revelations that all the systems of government are designed for controlling something, not just the material. And as I went into that, it's not just the material, then you start to lose more friends. And I want to preface what I'm about to say by some thank yous. ZP, there's another name, and it's not coming to me right now. I do apologize. Andrea in America for sending us some money, and a guy who's just kind of come out of the blue now with a second contribution of $500. Richard, I haven't actually asked him if he wants me to identify him more than that, but in this instance, we are, in a rare situation where we can actually afford a few nights of accommodation, but they're about to shut all the motels and so on with the level 4 lockdown, so not sure, Then that was what I was going to say, that even amongst us folks who are, where we are in terms of understanding things, there is still much kind of, let's call it 3D or material world, relationships or attachments or egos that continue to kind of, keep things at bay, and just like with my family, for example, I've for the longest time wondered whether there wasn't eventually a truth, an event that was going to crack the dam and allow for them to go, oh, okay, you were right, or even not even like that, you were right, because no, actually it needs to be that. I think it needs to be that. I think truthfully, it needs to be that, because until people can go honestly, yeah, okay, I have to be humble and realize that I didn't know much of anything, and in a way, like a child goes to school on the first day, and you know accepts that they're going to learn stuff from the teacher that they never knew before, and they really need to pay attention. There's always those kids in class who'll go, "No, teacher, you know, I don't accept what you're saying." But it feels like this is where we're still at, in the main. Yeah. A bit like the teacher, though, I suppose, where, let's say you were a teacher of natural medicine, and for years everybody's walked past your door and laughed or ignored anything you had to say because they were headed over to the shiny university to receive their education. You know, she, the teacher, holds such valuable knowledge. Some days it feels like a test of patience. All we need is just a little patience. Not every day at the moment, because some days I don't feel like singing, but I sing that to myself often. And it is a test of patience and a test of faith. That we are to walk this narrow way. To be on the outside of the village. To have people walk by. And even those who stop, it's not long before they're scoffing and mocking and telling you how much cleverer they are with their special books and knowledge. My family heard recently that I'd been asking for money, donations, support, contributions, whatever. My family heard that and they were ashamed and embarrassed that I'd been reduced to such. I think the humbling that this journey has been and continues to be is designed to ensure you've made the appropriate preparations and sacrifices. I can only imagine that. I've seen what's the guy's name? He was well known in Flat Earth in the early days. Kind of fell off the radar a bit, had problems with drugs, I believe, but no judgment there. he along with others, Flat Earth Fucker, Zoom Truth, Authentic Intent, you name it, Harry, pretty much anyone who I've seen, Roxanne, these people who have put themselves out there in a particular way, and many, 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 many others who I'm not naming now, not coming to mind, or whose work I haven't seen, or whose activism, or whose statements, whose efforts are not recorded in this way. And there are many people of that sort, of course, but it's tested and sought to challenge most, if not all. Anyway, I do feel a little melancholy, and I guess, truthfully, I know I had got the opportunity, for reasons of having spoken about electromagnetic universe recently, and then seen Martin Kenny talking about it again after he scolded me back in 2 years ago for talking about it on the Sun and Moon channel. I had cause to look at some of that old content and think about it again, and seeing myself in just less than 2 years, January 2019, my situation kind of brings a tear to the eye almost when I watch it, because so much has changed. We've been through so much in that time since then. But the purpose of me telling you that was that, sorry, I'm being distracted by flashing lights. I wanted to tell you this. I think it's useful. A tree, a seedling, really needs to be well taken care of. And a tree, where it's planted and how often it's moved, or whether it's put in a pot and moved often and repotted, this will affect its health. We're all the same. And I'd been, looking at the tree of life and connecting the electromagnetic tree of life to you, what you are, like a tree, roots, trunk, and canopy. The Trinity, all three parts important. And in this world, they have been, in this reality, there is, it seems, an ongoing onslaught on the various aspects. The canopy is perhaps in the ether and getting affected by things in the air, and the trunk by things in the environment around us, and the roots obviously in the ground. And for me, seeing that work of mine back 2 years ago, when I had a more stable, let's be honest, I mean, I'm sure if I went back to myself then, I'd be like, geez, I'm so stressed over the unpaid bills and how I'm going to pay next rent. But there was a degree of stability, and hearing Alexander and knowing the stability and the environment we created for him, then, it was something to be proud of. In an unrooted situation, then my output is stunted. This system wants us all like that, so I think That seems to be the game at the moment. Unroot, destabilize, disturb. So it seems a good idea to do the opposite, right? Okay. Well, if I get to make another video before, I don't know. I'm not trying to make a big deal out of Christmas. I think that there's the new sun rising, and who are we, and what does this time mean for each of us, and why are they destabilizing us, trying to uproot us at this time? Esoteric questions to which we can't, the answer to which we can't be certain, but it seems a good idea to do the opposite. That means trying to avoid getting in their fights, as well as in their fear box. Again, thanks to those who've been able to send us some support via the PayPal. And Richard's recent contributions have, yeah. I'm not about to try and check in at an expensive hotel, but I can skirt along on in this motel situation for a little while. But there is a more pressing issue of this sort of seeming Boxing Day closure of pretty much everything. And there is no family who will take us in. Someone kindly suggested that we approach the council and all that business, but it's like we've taken this long and extremely arduous journey to reach this point. To go back to the beast now and make it seem all for nothing. No, there must be another way. There's a purpose to all of this, and surely not to simply take a 9 to 5 and some handouts from a rapacious system that steals your energy using force and threats of violence. There has to be a different way. But it does feel like, unless something breaks the damn wall, there'll be no room at the end. Banging. Cheers.